Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
This is Ed in San Diego, and our very special guests today are old friends and mentors to me, actually, particularly since I've been able to launch this series on Global TV Talk Show 2 years ago, March. Google Analytics, I don't know if we can believe all this crap they put out here, but they say that we've had about 175,000 audience page views and a little over 400 broadcasts, some longer than others, some better than others. But two of the best ongoing guests I've been able to have is Stephen Howard, author of 21 business books and a lifelong achievement of marketing presence, mind-blowing presence of right on the cutting edge of stuff, whether it's about Asia or whether about Latin America or US. And Ken Summers is a beautiful example of a very senior HR guy who is a C-suite. And both of them have been on our show a few times, and each time I've learned so much. I keep taking notes the old way here, taking notes. And so let's welcome Stephen Howard, who's in Mexico City today, and Ken Summers in Southern Connecticut. Stephen, so you're close to launching your 22nd book. I'm going to stop talking about it and let you describe whatever you want to say about it in the next 31 seconds.
All right. Well, thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure. It's getting very close. I feel like I'm delivering another baby here, but the concept is called Humany Leadership. Humany is a created word, Humony, and it's a combination of human, humanity, and harmony. And I talk about harmony in the workplace and how we all need more harmony in our lives, and particularly need harmony in the workplace. And, you know, when I talk to people about that, I said, do you have harmony in your workplace? They kind of scoff at the idea that, like, are you crazy? There's no such thing as harmony in the workplace. So it's a concept of how to be a people-centered people-centric leader going forward. And so that's coming out in early July.
And Summers, you have gotten really busy since the pandemic broke, and everybody's hiring or trying to, and then dealing with people running away, and then who knows where they are. Ken, what's your take on the work from anywhere, are they really working?
Oh, yeah. No, I think they are. You know, it's interesting, that question, Ed, reminds me of a conversation I had yesterday with a colleague who is the head of HR at a company that actually makes software to help companies monitor what people are doing remotely. And I have to confess, I cringed when I heard about it. But that is one of the manifestations of our times, is that people are asking that question, are they really working? So
can they really see through this camera in a reverse when I don't want them to see?
Yeah, what they're
only
doing,
at Google, right?
Yeah, well, they probably can do that, but they're monitoring things like keystrokes and are you logged in, are you active, and
yeah, that's better.
I just find the whole thing offensive, but
Me too.
Yeah, it's like an intrusion. It's like Big Brother.
Well, it comes to trust.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we started in the pandemic with people working remotely because we had to. Now we have people working remotely because they either want to, or corporations, or a combination of corporations and employees have figured out, hey, this thing isn't bad. I can be possibly even more productive. So I have to confess, you know, and I said it a moment ago, the idea of monitoring what I'm doing is not something that makes me feel real warm and fuzzy. Yeah. Does not resonate with Humany leadership.
No, not at all. No. Humany leadership is based on trust and respect, and there's no trust or respect if you're going to monitor people's keystrokes.
So I'm self-employed, but I have to tell you, I had I wouldn't call it epiphany, especially somebody with my last name, but I have to tell you that there was an awakening because so Joanne comes over to my perch here on the dining room table and says, yesterday morning, about this time, she says, "Yeah, I'm taking you out of here. I know you got stuff to do, but we're going to go to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which is about an hour north of here. It used to be called the Wild Animal Park, and we're members of the zoo for many, many years. So we went to the zoo and walked around and took the African tramway around the grounds, and in the distance were the rhinoceroses and the cheetahs and the elephants and the giraffes. I love giraffes, and the pink flamingos, and also white flamingos. Wow, who would guess? And so so here in San Diego downtown, 92101, we're right on the water, and this time of year it was May gray, and now it's June gloom with low fog and low clouds and fog. But up there, an hour north of here, it was like 95 degrees and clear. Okay, it was like, wow. So when we came back late afternoon, the first thing we did was had a beer, and second thing was go to the pool, and then third thing was come back and pour a drink and start watching baseball, So we didn't work much yesterday, but I thought about stuff. So it was sort of work.
It's a good thing we weren't monitoring your keystroke.
or his alcohol.
Yeah, well,
Does this count as monitoring keystrokes, or is it just the laptop?
my guess is they can monitor whatever they want once you give them access.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by Porchlight Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
Stop dreaming and start living overseas. International lifestyle consultant Emily Braun can help you seamlessly transition to your new life in your dream destination. Whether you are a retiree, a digital nomad, or a mobile executive, Emily Braun can make your transition overseas a success. Visit emilybraun.com.
Coutalis is a global group with a worldwide footprint. With 16 agencies in 10 countries, Coutalis offers companies and mobile professionals a unique combination of HR services and options. Find us at coutalis.com.
Take your communication skills to the next level. Barbara Bolt of Bolt Global has a passion to make you shine. As our globe expands, effective intercultural communication and presentation is a must. Visit boltglobal.com.
All right, I'm going to stop talking. Ken, give us an example, if you can, about the kind of work that you're into right now.
Oh, gosh. Well, in one way or another, everything is about what people have been calling the Great Resignation. It's certainly stimulating a lot of opportunities for people like me, and a lot of fodder for people like Stephen to write about. And now I for the audience's context, I became an aspiring writer after listening to Stephen's guidance, but we'll see if that pans out. But I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm now shifting my thoughts, and I don't really think about it as the Great Resignation anymore. I'm now thinking about it as, and I'm sure it's not original, the Great Rethink. And the Great Resignation implies an employer's perspective. for me, the great rethink implies the individual's perspective, because I think what we've witnessed over the last few decades is that the modern workplace has really become very transactional. And what we used to think about as loyalty is gone for the most part. And we now have shifted gears and are thinking about not loyalty, but engagement and how do we retain. And I think that the pandemic, the fact that we all had to work remotely for a long time, and many of us are going to continue to work remotely for the rest of our careers or some hybrid combination. And as you know, we could have a whole conversation just about hybrid. Maybe it's a chapter for the book, Stephen. But I think that it's caused people, or it's given people the opportunity to reconsider what's important to them and how do they want to achieve their goals. And it reminds me of, we've all heard the expression VUCA, right? Volatility, uncertainty, confusion, and ambiguity. I think that the pandemic has created VUCA on steroids.
Yeah.
The war in Ukraine hasn't helped. Inflation hasn't helped. I mean, we could go on and on. The level of complexity, confusion, and uncertainty is off the charts, which I think has all contributed to what I'm thinking of as this great rethink. And I believe, and I hope that this is a good segue to Stephen, that the best leaders, at least the ones that I'm seeing, really focus on a few things now. They make people first decision making. And there's lots of examples. The way Cisco, for example, handled the beginning of the pandemic. And they were one of the first companies that said, you guys can work at home remotely forever. Huge, aggressive, and at the time, kind of a scary decision, but it certainly has played out well. The second factor is heart-based leadership. And I think of Salesforce.com and the way that they handled the pandemic. They were also one of the first companies that said, you guys can work remotely. And then, walking the talk. And the example I would use is, believe it or not, Hilton Hotels. The CEO at Hilton Hotels, when the pandemic came along and the hospitality industry went right in the gutter, they went out of their way. They minimized the number of layoffs. They minimized the number of furloughs. They did a whole bunch of supportive activities for their employees. And they've been able to retain most of the staff that they need to operate now that business is coming back. So I think that, people first leadership, people first decision making, heart-based leadership, and actually walking the talk are all themes that are going to become really important. And I think it plays well into your concept of humanity, Stephen.
Absolutely, it does. Thanks, Ken. And when we're listening, you talk about that. I'd like the audience just to pause for a second when I say these two words: people costs. And I bet you everyone's starting to think about salaries, benefits, vacation pay, things like that. I would suggest that going forward, the human leader, when they think of people costs, they're going to think about what is the cost, the impact on their people in terms of their mental well-being, their physical well-being, and their emotional well-being. And so that's taking the concept of people cost to a different level. And that's where you're absolutely right, Ken, in that's a people first decision. I mean, you have to think about, if I'm going to ask somebody to work 45 hours a week, 50 hours a week, or work on weekends, what am I doing to their family? What am I doing to their physical health? What am I doing to their mental health? How am I going to be able to help them well-being? Now, short term, yeah, we can all put in extra hours. I mean, we've all done that. Short term, there's crisis, things to do. But why are you structuring jobs that require people to work 50, 60 hours a week as almost a requirement? I know you don't put it in the contract, but almost as a requirement of the job, because you're not giving the right resources, you're not giving the right support staff, you're not giving the right technology to do so. And I think that's where I'm taking, trying to take it one step further from what people are calling heart-centered leadership and things like that.
Boy, that's excellent. But can I just jump in?
Sure.
Can the employer be held liable for my health?
Depends what country you're in.
Yeah.
In Australia, you can.
Yep.
In Australia, you
Yep.
can now.
Yep. And increasingly, believe it or not, in a place like Japan, where, a 60, 80-hour week was considered a badge of honor,
Exactly.
that's changing now.
Yeah.
Even in a place like Japan.
Yeah, Stephen?
And it's no longer, it should not be a badge of honor within, and that's what goes back to walking the talk. Now, if leaders are doing that, then what are their staff supposed to do? And the same thing when leaders send an email out at 8 o'clock at 9 o'clock at night, even though they may say to their staff, you don't have to reply immediately. I'm just clearing my outbox. But you know what, staff, first of all, you get an email at 9 o'clock at night, your spouse looks at you like, why are you doing work? Why aren't you reading something to the kids? Read the kids to sleep or something, or help with the dishes, or, why is work so important? Or secondly, the person might be sitting there, okay, I know I don't have to respond, but if I don't respond, what if somebody else does? Is that going to jeopardize my career? Are they going to be more promotable? Are they going to seem like they're more dedicated than me? And we're putting pressure on people that we don't even realize we're putting pressure on by sending the emails at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And I talked to somebody the other day who says he sends emails at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I was coaching him. I said, please stop doing that. Just please stop. And last comment, then I'll throw it back to you. Ed, is Ken, about that monitoring you talked about. Very interesting. I did read a few weeks ago that the state of New York is considering legislation to ban that kind of monitoring in New York. And of course, how many Fortune 500 companies are headquartered in, downtown New York. So yeah, I tell you what, if companies continue to try and do this, governments, local governments, state governments, national governments, like in Ireland, France, they're going to pass legislation to prevent it. So it's companies are going down the wrong road, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And it will become another manifestation of the whole privacy movement.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. Oh, guys, we have unfortunately 8 minutes remaining. So let's talk about, it may be a little bit redundant, but I think for this audience and the nature of everything getting crunched, and it's already June 1st, and it's amazing. So I don't think the world is going to go on vacation like they did in the past in July and August. I think there's too much risk out there. I think I think everybody has to just buckle down and create new business somehow, because of inflation and because of the changing nature of competition. But I don't know. I'm not a professor. Stephen, you are.
Well, thank you for that, Ed. I'm almost going to slightly disagree with you. I think a lot of people will go on vacation for two reasons. There's so much backlog of vacation days, and if you didn't use it, it got rolled over. And I think companies have been pretty good about allowing that rollover during the pandemic, realizing people couldn't go anywhere. So I do think more and more people will take it. I think people realize, it goes back to what you originally talked about, people realize work's not number one anymore. And forget the concept of work-life balance. I think people want work-life harmony. And how do you harmonize that? And that goes back to what Ken was talking about. Yeah, I can work from home. That's harmonizing. I can decide when to work. I can decide if I'm going to take 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock in the afternoon off and come back and work from 6 to 9. If that suits me, that's my lifestyle. I can do it as long as I'm getting my work done. And obviously, as long as my employer is in agreement with that. So I slightly disagree with that. I think people realize, it goes back to that mental health thing. People need to take a break. We come back fresh. Everyone should take holiday in July and August in the Northern Hemisphere. I guess that's really what we're talking about here, the traditional vacation time. Take those vacations, come back fresh in September, and then really, really figure out how to be innovative, collaborative, handling ambiguity when you come back in September. Ken?
And this goes to upskilling and reskilling, and part of that is mental well-being. So as a senior HR people leader, how would you recommend your clients behave?
Well, even before I respond to that, Ed, I just want to echo what Stephen said. I think that I also disagree. I think that people are going to take vacation. The TSA numbers over Memorial Day weekend bear evidence to that, because Memorial Day is traditionally a good indicator of what the vacation season will look like. And I think they were up around 2 million screenings per day over the weekend. So, which is pretty close to what it was pre-pandemic. So people are taking vacation. But to answer your question, Ed, I, like everybody, at least I hope like everybody, I'm evolving and constantly revisiting my assumptions and learning and I hope growing. And one of the things where my perspective has shifted is that I think that companies need to start thinking about capabilities instead of job descriptions. And if they start to think about, okay, what capabilities do I need in order to get XYZ work done? It frames up the process of talent management in a very different way. And that's what I've been urging my clients to do when we've been talking about, either staffing plans or in those rare occasions where I actually help someone recruit because it's not my forte. I've been asking questions about, okay, what kind of capabilities does the person need to have in order to be successful in the job? And that in turn can drive retraining or upskilling or whatever term is fanciful this week. But to me, capabilities is becoming more and more an important consideration as opposed to the traditional job description.
Just a little self-promotion for a second. June 3, today's June 1, on June 3, at the same time, approximately, we're going to have a blue ocean discussion about which is innovative thinking. I think that's what it means, Stephen. Maybe you could describe that a little bit better.
Blue ocean is definitely innovative thinking. It's kind of like starting with a blank whiteboard, basically, just conceptualizing all possibilities. And adding on to what Ken said, though, I would advocate that the number one competency that companies will need out of leaders in going into the near future will be the ability to lead through uncertainty, leading through ambiguity. And so I've been coaching some people lately to say, here's the questions you should ask when you're hiring somebody. Don't ask them about their skill set. Ask them, when was a time you had to make a decision when you didn't have all the facts at hand, or it was very unclear, the future was very unclear and uncertain. And then hear that. But then this follow-up question is probably the most important. What did you learn about yourself or your team? Because it doesn't matter with the solution, because the solution is going to be situational. It's going to be based on the economy, the product, the competition. What did you learn about yourself? And what did you learn about your team? And what did you learn about leading your team from that situation? If I get a good answer from that, that's the person I would hire going forward. I don't care whether he has a degree or advanced degree or not, or whatever. That's the skill set that people need going forward.
We are pleased to welcome Adamo Education as a proud sponsor of Global TV Talk Show.
The concept of a microschool is the reimagining of the one-room schoolhouse. My name is Tamara Becker. I'm the president and CEO of Adamo Education. The microschool concept really does not just lend itself to the personalization and the customization of learning, but also the social development and fostering that sense of love for learning. Unlike what we see in traditional brick and mortar schools, we have multiple grade levels in the same learning space. Students can be enriched by the socialization that they get, as well as the academic support from peers. What differentiates Adamo is the fact that we are taking the best pieces of brick and mortar, of digital, and then at-home learning. Students here can come 5 days a week. They can come 4 hours a day. It will really just depend on what is best for the student and for the parent. To enroll, just reach out via phone, text, or email, and we'll have that personalized conversation, and we'll be able to get you all set. Check us out at adamoeducation.org.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Ken, how can people get in touch with you?
The easiest way would be through email, which is ken@somersHRsolutions.com, or my website, which is somersHRsolutions.com.
That's Somers, SOMERS.
Yes, sir.
And Stephen, and how can people find you?
Well, I'm Stephen at CalienteLeadership.com. Caliente, Caliente, CalienteLeadership.com. Caliente, as some people will know in Spanish, means hot, but the second definition of caliente in Spanish means passionate. And I hope the audience knows I'm a little bit passionate about leadership and the future of leadership. So Stephen at CalienteLeadership.com, and the website, obviously the same, CalienteLeadership.com.
So folks, if you guys out there want to write a book someday and use it as your new business card, writing a book successfully, Stephen Howard's the guy to go to.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, take care. This is Ed in San Diego. That is Stephen Howard in Mexico City, and Ken Somers in Southern Connecticut on the Long Island Sound. Enjoy the weather.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.